Fish in Canada, brought to you in part by Stearns, the life jacket experts. Ram Trucks, nothing works harder than a Ram. Castrol, more than just oil, it's liquid engineering. And US Reel, when performance means everything.
Having the enviable position as a host of the Fish in Canada show, I'm often asked where my favorite place to fish is.
Wow!
Well, at first, the question seems easy, and with bass being my favorite species to pursue, I would most likely answer Ontario. But given some time to think about it, well, I might come up with a different answer.
Right here, look it!
Right here!
The boat!
Whoa! That's what I'm talking about!
You gotta be kidding me!
Look at the size of it!
Ah, man, look at her. She's hopped up, look at her.
There is a place I have experienced only a couple of times in my life and had just a small sample of what it has to offer. And they are two of my favorite things, lobster and giant fish. Holy, this is awesome.
Whoa,
Yes, the Maritimes
back in the
have
boat.
to be considered a fisherman's paradise. And I'm not talking about jigging for cod. Imagine a city that has a major airport and seaport, the Bay of Fundy as a backyard, the Atlantic Ocean in the front yard, miles of freshwater lakes, and is home to the fabled Sunnyvale Trailer Park. Yes, Nova Scotia might just become my new favorite fishing destination. On today's show, we're on a bit of a search and destroy mission. With the help of some local experts, our hopes are to tie into some river-run stripers along the banks of the Stewiacke River. And there we go. That's what we're dealing with here. So after landing in Halifax and taking in some sights of the Canadian warships and Halifax Harbour, we headed over to Dartmouth to pick up a shiny new 1500 Ram, courtesy of Doug Wilson at Dartmouth Chrysler. And then on our way cross-country to the Colchester and Cumberland region of Nova Scotia. The small fishing towns and ports that dot the highway running through the province are a must-see. You actually feel as though time stands still and sense the strong British and Celtic Highland traditions that encompass the Maritimes. We finally met up with our East Coast connection, Joe Anthony of A&L Seafoods, hooked up his Princecraft and had a special East Coast picnic lunch at the side of the highway.
Lobster time, boys. There you go. That's what I wanted. I've been waiting all day for that.
Thanks, buddy.
Now this is our kind of picnic. Joe knows every square inch of this province and the right people for putting us on fish. He's a major player in the shellfish market and shared his passion for fishing on our previous episode where he and Pete and Angelo reeling in the biggest fish of their lives.
Now, do you actually see them, the schools of tuna coming in?
Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time with that, you just see a splash of the water, right?
There's a big guy right there. Look at this. Oh my God! Real.
Did you see that?
Real. Oh my God! Yes! Great.
I'm trying.
Look at this thing! Oh my God!
Oh my
Look at this thing! Oh my God! Oh my God!
That
This is the biggest fish.
Oh, wow! Captain!
Yo!
Yo is right!
Yeah, boy! So we're with Joe Anthony here, a good buddy of ours from the East Coast. So Joe is in the fishing industry in a sense a whole different than us. We sport fish for, and Joe is in the crab industry, correct?
Commercial fishery, the snow crab.
Right. But he also knows a lot about the tuna fishery. He knows a lot about all the East Coast stuff that goes on. So we're out here on the ocean looking at this tuna. Give me an idea how the system goes from catching a fish let's say we caught a fish today. What happens after that?
These tuna are consumed basically raw, okay?
Right.
As
Is it
opposed,
sushi tuna sort of thing?
Yes. This is not the tuna that
In the can or something like that?
No,
Right.
no. This is the bluefin
This is the
tuna.
good
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We think
it's all
so.
good. Yeah.
Right on. Beautiful.
Joe Anthony himself put one of the biggest fish we have ever seen on the deck of a boat and whet our appetites for giant bluefin tuna. It's obvious the commercial fishery is alive and well in Nova Scotia.
Our behemoth weighs in at 1,006 pounds. 1,000 pounds.
They're filling up now on mackerel and herring.
At $12.89 per pound, that equals $9,577.27.
When it comes to crab, lobster, and tuna, it's safe to say we're in good hands. But I'm looking for stripers in a river, not the high seas. So we scoped out some locations and were met with slick mud banks
Slippery, man.
and limited access to the river. With the hopes of launching the Princecraft fading, I realized I was going to have to try and tackle these fish from the banks of the Stewiacke. There is plenty of access to the Stewiacke, and there are even notices posted along the river explaining the laws and catch limits for stripers. We tried various locations where we could see active fish and even hooked into a couple, but it was proving to be quite a challenge. You see, stripers are a member of the sea bass family and will aggressively strike both hard and soft artificial baits. But on this day, we were having a tough time due to the water clarity and the fact there was a lot of fish spawning, which meant they were not too interested in what we were offering. Oh, I just got whacked again. I must be bumping them. What's got teeth in there, you think? Something in there with teeth. We had pretty much exhausted our hopes of putting a show together. Location is the key to finding and catching fish in any situation. Through trial and error, we ended up working a straight section of the river right off the highway.
Go down the river.
We'll see you later, Dad. You're going to pick us up later. We were not having much luck using hard baits, so we took some advice from a local expert, Adrian Gloade of the Millbrook First Nation. He said we had to put some stink on because this water is pretty muddy and the stripers are feeding by smell, not sight. So what happens here is the Bay of Fundy's miles downriver here. This river joins another river and then it goes into the Bay of Fundy. And then when the tides come in, all the water pushes up all these rivers. And as you can see here, it's going past us now. That's heading upriver. And it pushes all the stripers in. And then when the tides recede and there's slack water here, that's when you can fish for them. Right now the current's just too strong and I haven't got a bait that'll stay on bottom. So what I do when the tide goes, I'm going to wait for the tide. It takes about an hour. It's going to go back out and there'll be slack water here. I got about a 3/4 ounce jig here, and then just up from it I've tied on a 4/0 just wide gap bass fishing hook. And then what you do is you just take, you got to use something with scent in it, like this Berkeley Gulp, stuff like that. You got to have something that's got a really strong scent because the water's so murky and the fish, you got to find it. And you're going to laugh the way I rig this simply because my jig on the bottom doesn't do much. You've seen Petey use this, as he calls it, the bow rod rig. But I'm going to put a bait on there just in case. So see, I ball that up there so when it sits on bottom it kind of just stands up like that. And then 2 feet up the line, watch what I do with this worm. It's like when you're a little kid using rubber worms because you didn't want to touch worms. So this is, see how sticky that is? It's all tacky now. It's that Gulp Alive. It's really strong stuff. And that's all I'm going to do. It's the ugliest rig you've ever seen. That's just going to hang there. That's going to be on the bottom. I'm going to cast it across the bank, let it sink to the bottom, and then slowly move it back across the riverbed towards me. And when those stripers bite it, it's just a little flick of your line and you got to set the hook. You can't mess around. He's pulling drag on my flipping stick. That felt like a sunfish bite. Just pecked it. There he is, there he is.
I knew
He's right in front of me. Look at this, 2 fish beside each other. Me and Adrian up the bank's got one on too. Yeah, watch. Oh, he got off.
quick release.
Oh well, I'm letting him go anyway. Wow, that was serious. What a hit. It's like a, I can only describe it as a flick on my line. Somebody flicking my line. I've had 2 or 3 of them and I thought nothing of it. That time I set the hook and just slammed 10 or 15 pounds of striper. Here, I'll get him. Here, I'll get this one. I got to hold one after all. Hang on, pop this hook out of him. Okay, you're free. And there we go. That's what we're dealing with here. Beautiful emerald green backs on them.
When I got here, it was still going outside.
There we go.
That was awesome.
A couple of Stewiacke River's finest there you just got to see. Oh, he's milking out.
Big right off.
Stripers are strong swimmers and a challenge to hook. Something thumped it. Yep, I got scales. Add to that the slippery slope you must traverse to land them, and you've got one exciting fishing adventure. There we go. Wow, this guy isn't going to get off. I drilled him good. Compared to a largemouth, the mouth on this fish is so tough. Tougher than anything I've ever seen. Wow. And they're not that big. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say he's probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 pounds maybe. Beautiful. It's kind of like a cross between a walleye and a bass right there. Awesome fish. Big sharp dorsal fins. Look at these. Deadly. Amazing. Wow. And fast. Boy, your reflexes have got to be so quick or else you just miss them. And there's thousands in this river. Here we go. Ready? I'm going to let you go this way. I can't imagine a fish that big, 15 pounds, 16 pounds, even up to 40 pounds, being able to hit your line like that, and if you don't set the hook, you're hanging in the wind like laundry.
Best one was when my buddy was in from Shubby. We went and fished early in the morning. We fished all day. We were catching them all day long with rubber streakers. And he kept getting hits, but he couldn't land a fish. Finally, just before dark, we went to go home. He said, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Anyway, he brought his lure in and said, that's it. We had all kinds of fish. He couldn't get one. And he looked at his rubber worm. The hook was broke off.
Oh! The tides in the bay really dictate fish activity in this river. At low tide, there's not much water, and trudging out into the muck is the only way to get close enough to make a cast towards the schools of spawning stripers. However, when the tide does come in, you'd better be on high ground, as it comes in fast and furious, and with it, thousands of big stripers. Here comes that tide. Have a look at this. Get your surfboards out. Whoa, it's taking line. I called it just as that tide's coming in. I whacked one. Whew. You guys got to get up here. That's going to come up fast. Come on, come on, come on. You got these kids swimming in the creek. Woo-hoo! No, it comes up to here. I almost straightened my hook out.
Did he almost straighten it out?
Oh yeah. See that? Always some friendly people on the rivers here in Nova Scotia to give you a hand getting rid of your fish as the tide's coming in. Thanks a lot. Here, appreciate it. Yeah, I need to get some of that fish slime on me. This is a mean one. There you go! Halfway across the creek.
Wow.
He's because he was on camera. He performed, he knew. What a great way to spend a spring day. Sitting on the riverbank, meeting some new friends, catching some fish. Even Doug Wilson and his boys got in on the action. Oh, that's a thick one. Woo, son!
You can do it, boys. Come on now. We're counting on you. Hold on, Rod. Get up.
Woo-ha! That's the only fish we got for this whole show.
On the bank already. That's a nice fish.
Now watching these kids tangle with one of the biggest fish of the trip and one of the biggest fish they'd ever caught was the highlight of the day for everyone. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
For parents looking to get your kids into fishing, the Stewiacke is a great place to start.
He's on it, man. He's good.
Oh yeah.
After only a couple days exploring the area, we were able to get on to what might be one of the most exciting and accessible fisheries Nova Scotia has to offer.
Got Got
For young and old, experienced and inexperienced alike, striper fishing can't be beat. That's classic. This is what Fishing Canada is all about.
Today's Radio World hotspot is a portion of the Stewiacke River deep in the heart of Nova Scotia. The waypoint on your screen will get you there. Stripers move through this area during their spring spawning ritual. There are literally thousands of fish stacked up, and the days of catching 20+ stripers are quite common. Try using either live or artificial bloodworms, or casting crankbaits and topwater lures. One thing to keep in mind, when the Bay of Fundy tides come rolling in, extreme caution should be taken. The fast current and slippery mudbanks can be treacherous. For more hotspots like this one, check out fishingcanada.com.
To get to Nova Scotia, we flew from Pearson International Airport in Toronto to the Halifax Stanfield International Airport in Nova Scotia. We then drove northeast on Highway 102 for about 45 minutes. We exited onto Main Street East at the town of Stewiacke and then took a left on Trunk Road 2, traveling northeast to where the bridge crosses the Stewiacke River and parked at the access road on the right.
Fishing Canada, brought to you in part by Stearns, the life jacket experts. Ram Trucks, nothing works harder than a Ram. Castrol, more than just oil, it's liquid engineering. And US Reel, when performance means everything.